Testing 1, 2, 3. I don't like the camera. Why do I have this camera on here? How do I get rid of this camera? Where am I going? Oh, I need. Okay. All right, guys, I'm back on here. Hang on here. Can you hear me? That thing. Yo, 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 yo. Try to figure out this camera. Okay. So I can. Why can't I? Pork drop pig. Fuck. Okay, guys. I'm just on here testing this again. I got showed for a little bit. I don't know who is on here. I just posted in the links for the hangout. If there's if anyone's having trouble getting into this, you can just say in the chat there. Also, I can see the chat from here, so I'm just trying to figure out if I can get rid of this camera. I don't know if I can or not right now. But yeah, so it's glad to see you guys. Mongi TB in the chat. Yes, I have lame username. Megady Filth. Huh. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Megady Filth, for your support. Whoever you are. So yeah, the reason why I made this chat, I posted in my political party group. It's called Nationalist Party, Canadian Nationalist Party. You can go check it out. We got a 21-point platform. We can go over it too if you like today. But basically, I don't know. I just wanted to just kind of I wanted to bring the community together with the stream, and because well, in the West anyway, it's very hard for nationalists to come together. So we need platforms like this or other platforms. I know this is not the best platform in the world, but it's available to me, so I'm going to take advantage of it when I can, and yeah, we'll go from there. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about the yellow vest protest going on right now. It's still going on in France. They are a lot more effective in their means in getting their point across, and I think that's something we can learn from. And see, is that going to get me show it? I don't know. I should read that terms and conditions. Is that hate speech? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so they're doing a good job. I'm just gonna go on Islamic. Oh, so another news too. There's also a new party. It's called the Islamic Party of Ontario. There's a lot of good things they have on their platform, such as ending usury, as well as establishing traditional gender roles, and also banning alcohol. Which I mean, it wouldn't be a bad. Okay, I was going to pull up their economic policy here right now. So what they want to do is they want to Quranic principles of spending, charity, interest-free economy, God-given principles. We strongly believe that Canada chooses this economic system. The economy of our nation will flourish, and we will never get depression or face an economic crisis. Currently, there is no single state, including all so-called Muslim states, in the world implementing this system of economy. Almost all states are economically enslaved of capitalism and interest-based economy. This article provides insight in the benefit of the Quranic Islamic system of economy and permanent cure of economic misery. Wow, so this is not even in other states, even Islamic states. And there's a passage from the Quran. It says, Quran, verse 51, uh, uh, verse 51. And in their wealth, there was a rightful share for him who would ask, and for the destitute. Okay. In other words, on one hand, they recognize the right of their Lord and duly to discharge on it. On the other hand, they did not think that whatever Allah had given them, whatever little or much, was wholly their own and their children's right. But they had a sense that in their possessions there was the right and share of every person who was indignant and needy. They did not render help to people as a charity to earn their gratitude for the favor done, but they regarded it as the people's right and discharged it as their duty. Then there then there's this service, broken up language a little bit, to mankind was not only confined to those who come to them for seeking help as beggars, but anyone about whom they came to know that he had been left destitute. They would become anxious to render him necessary their help of their own accord. There was no orphan who might have been left helpless, no widow who might have had no breadwinner, no disabled person who might be unable to earn a living, no one who might have lost his job or whose taming might not be sufficing his needs, nobody who might have been hit by a calamity and might have been be unable to compensate for the loss by himself. In short, there was no needy one whose condition they might have known, and yet might have withheld their help when they could have rendered him necessary help and support. So, and then it keeps going down. So yeah, this is basically the paragraph of it. Kind of weird language. Um, so basically, it just goes into if you watch the FBN on the Islamic banking, that stuff seems to be a different cease. And won't jump at anything unless it's been made for them anyways. Why not go at this? New user. That's a good point. Superland because they think they can change things by just voting one party out. Yeah. So Maggie Filth makes a good point there. So yeah, there's a lot of I guess conservatives who want to think that if they just vote in Andrew Scheer, that the economy and everything will magically be better with if we just cut out Justin Trudeau out of office, we will make everything better. And anyone who starts up their own party is a liberal shill. Like we are liberal shills right now because we are starting our own party and we don't agree with the main party system. Is this the same as the Islamic Party of Ontario, right? They offer something that they think that uh, the government can't offer, right? The main parties can't offer. So that's the beautiful thing about our democracy. So instead of flaunting that, they despise it, and I just like it's just such a closed mind. Like I don't know, like that depends upon. It's mostly boomers that don't subscribe to this new ways of thinking. They're so indoctrinated into their political system of liberalism that to admit that they are wrong is kind of suicide for them. Um, it's sad to say, but boomers, like, liberalism is anti-culture of all cultures. Actually, the Islamic Party of Ontario, actually, they have a video that actually goes into this very well. Um, ooh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Timothy Bauer. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. You're gonna need Google Hangouts if you want to join in the chat. Um, I know you don't, but I mean, well, you don't need Google Hangouts. You could just go on the YouTube channel. But yeah, if you want to go on here and talk, you need Google Hangouts. Sorry, bud. Can't do anything about it. I put it on the thing. Yeah. So, so yeah, I can read maybe a little bit more about their economic policy here. So yeah, this basically is I just maybe I could just like dissect that first paragraph a little bit. Um, so there was no orphan who might have been left helpless, no widow who might have had no breadwinner, no disabled person. Yeah, those are kind of self-explanatory. Lost his job. Yeah. All right. So yeah, there's a video on YouTube with the Islamic Party of Canada, and basically they say that liberals support our party, but they don't support us as Muslims. They support us as a reformed liberal Muslim, reformed Islam culture. So if they don't have Islam, they are not Muslims, so they can't be Muslims. So basically, that was the gist of it. So basically, liberalism is taking the rights away of everybody, and I think it's about time that we recognize distinct peoples who have distinct advantages and just get away from this pan-Europeanism of liberalism, because we are not all the same culture. This goes for the same for the English and the French. We are not the same culture. We're both different cultures, and I think it's time we recognize that, and do things differently. We gotta get away from this "we're all Canadian" crap because it's too vague. It's you're an Anglophone, Francophone. We're the only country that has like a legit multiculturalism in our constitution. So we are a rarity in that sense. Unless there's another country I don't know if maybe the Balkans, like Yugoslavia, but that really worked out. I don't know. Is there any other multicultural countries that are on right now that are not in conflict in the world? I don't know. Maybe that's something for the chat to look into. But yeah. Alrighty. Geez, I don't really use this thing by myself. Got two people watching. Woohoo. Yeah. So it's glad to get on here. You guys can come on here if you like. I'm probably just going to be reading, uh, and maybe reading some Quranic verses on here. See, I get why you could say, quote unquote, Canadian nationalists, actual nationalists, Anglophone, Francophone, Native nationalists would be apprehensive about this new party, but at the same time, you have to think the failure of the Christian Church, who didn't who has let degeneracy into their church. That's a heresy, and I think that is unforgivable. That is unforgivable. I don't like that, and I think this will definitely because okay. So basically, what I think what's going on with the West right now is that um, we've been on a decline since I don't know if you guys what book you're reading right now, but aha, there we go. I'm reading this book right here, The Foistian Man. Whoa, sorry, I'm out of on the computer. The Foistian Man in the Multicultural Age. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hang on, I'm on the screen. There we go. So it goes into in-depth. Oh yeah, there we go. Ah, a little bit messed up. After you pointed out to me the issues with Anglos, how's there really Anglo nationalist in Canada? Ooh, I see. Every Catholic I've met is a massive cuck, and I'm curious as to why. Um, do you mean every Catholic you met? Well, you have to keep in mind too that the Catholic Church is still secularized. Like the rituals are still the same. So they believe in baptism and fasting. That is a Catholic thing. Um, as a terms of, ooh, get a little racing in the chat there. In terms of in terms of the Catholics being cucked, um, actually, the one criticism I usually get is Catholic societies are corrupt. But this person here is they're cucked. The thing is, they're not really like they're in operation. They're not part of the. It was supposed to be a holy union between church and state, and now they are part of the secular order. And the secular order believes in religious freedom. So you can be a Catholic, you can be a Protestant, and there's different denominations of Protestantism. So if you go to a Protestant church, it's not a monolith. So it could be evangelicals, reformists, Mormonism is part of the Reformation. You got spiritualists, and so there's a lot of different sects that come out of this Reformation in the medieval ages in Europe. And today we are still experiencing this. And the reason why we are still experiencing this is because we are not cut off from what happened in those times culturally. Because whatever happens in the church always has an effect on, you guess you could say, mainstream society. So, one anecdote I can give you is that so when Catholics and Protestants used to fight a lot, they actually they would shop to avoid conflict, and I find it interesting because when George W. Bush after 9/11 mentioned that after 9/11 he went on the screen and like everyone in the West was like, oh, we gotta the president's on. Like I remember that day too. Like after 9/11, it's like I remember that day. It was just like there's a president. He's doing a state of address. We gotta listen to this. This is the most important thing in the world. And basically what he said is we would like all people in the West, well, especially in America, to not be afraid, to keep shopping, and to keep getting loans and all this stuff. Right? He didn't want conflict between religious sects, and this is how basically they would handle these conflicts in medieval Europe. So we are living in the Reformation era in medieval Europe. We are not separated from it, even though the Enlightenment would disagree with that. Like, oh, we progressed past that. We are not past that. We are in it right now, living in it. So that's very. Uh, I guess that's an in-depth analysis I can give you. Um, I don't know if anybody can get on here. Hang on here. I would like to get some people with some different viewpoints. I like to chat. So can anyone get on there? I don't know. Well, maybe they just have to get on the chat. Shit, I don't know. Anyway, I'm live. I mean, what else you want to talk about? Oh, okay. I sure I could do this. All right, I'll do the what do you call it? I'll respond from the chat. I guess I'll do solo and whoever comes in. Yeah, anyone's welcome to join in. And you know what? I'm going to share this. Just going to message a couple of my friends here. Sorry, I'm just a little bit. Tag people. Joan. Add a couple people on here. Joan Schmidt. Robert Jones. And no, I'm not bored. I like to well, like like we could talk about other different things too. It's like but I also want to get other people in here to kind of build a community. And yeah, we've had really good live streams, and I've wished I videotaped it, but I wasn't on my YouTube account. And now I just found out that I am free, and so I like to get these chats like online and on video because I've done this before, even before I got into the whole nationalist thing. And a lot of people liked my streams. They thought they were very entertaining. Different people with different perspectives. I'm not saying the chat like I can go toe to toe with the chat, but yeah. Well, I'm just gonna take some people here, and then let's invite them. Let's see here. Okay. Alrighty. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's going on here? Hang on. What the hell? The reason why Catholicism was good because the pagan influence. Anyways, that is true. That is true. So like a lot of the tree like pagan influence. Does anyone want to describe to me pagan literature? Like what pagan literature there is out there? Like a scripture? Um, I know I've read Varg's books. So basically, they believe in a form of reincarnation. And so basically, when you die, if you died in a battle, they would leave your armor, your swords, and then you go to the underworld. So basically, they thought that so if you left it there, you would take that to the underworld so you can fight the monsters in the underworld, and then once you're done going through the underworld, you would come back through a different person, and those you would remember them from a past life, basically. Um, and when you saw that sword and shield by that tree, so basically they believed in kind of this like local kind of religion. And so pagans say that Christianity it's too universal. We're too cucked by it. Um, but the only thing is how can you believe in more gods metaphysically? Like the Greeks, they invented logos, right? The order of things, right? And so that had the Catholic, so which was with pagan and Christian element to it, and basically it was the order of the universe, and arrangement not part of paganism. Oh, interesting. Oh, see, thought it was paganism. I guess not. Uh, is actually a mix of agnosticism and paganism. Oh, oh, okay, didn't know that. So the pagan gods, there's Zeus, Horus, uh, I'm forgetting, Odin, um, and then they had like gods for like wheat fields and like for the seasons and all this stuff. Like they had a god for like each season too. So they had like a whole bunch of gods. Isn't pagan? Mm, that's an interesting question. I think so. There was a Christendom in Europe uh, after the fall of the. I'm trying to see where I could start with this. After the fall of the Roman Empire, you still had barbarians uh, from the north, from the Germanic tribes, come in, and so basically, like the fall of the Roman Empire, you still like people still believe the empire was still going. So it's kind of like today, like they believe that liberalism is still credible. in some way, but it can't meet their needs. Basically, it's fundamentally flawed, as you can obviously see with our political correctness. There's many contradictions in there. So it's kind of like the same thing, except only it was the state lost its power because it overextended itself because it wasn't technologically advanced, but it still introduced a lot of things. And then you had barbarians come in, and you'd still had a lot of uh, what the Greeks believed, the Mediterraneans. The barbarians just kind of revived it and maybe revised it a different way, but it was still Catholic. And so this is kind of how Christendom kind of spread throughout Europe, was after the fall of the Roman Empire, and then the barbarians came in, and then it spread more north. Um, and then the Reformation. So the Reformation happened in two areas, mainly in Britain and in Germany. Germany with the Lutheran Church, and in Britain with the aristocracy of uh, buying up all the churches. I forget their names. Shit, I'm horrible with names. But anyway, so yeah, so basically you had that, and then and so a lot of they still like a lot of heretics in those days they get purged right away, but they still stuck around. And they just basically, their fundamental disagreement was not necessarily about which god to uh, worship, as like paganism would be like, oh, we should worship this god, no, we should worship that. It wasn't necessarily that. It was the will of Jesus Christ. What was the will of God, and how to structure the church. That was their basic fundamental disagreement between the Catholic and the Protestant churches. So they believed the Catholics were too authoritarian, I guess you could say, and they didn't let people have free will. And part of the Bible is God gave man free will, and so the Protestants believe that uh, free will meant that you can start your own church if you like, and you can have your own kind of idea of what God is to you. And so that's basically how it started. And then from that, as you could see, you had a lot of different denominations come out of that. So it wasn't a monolith. And then with secularization, you had the industrial age, but there was still a heavy Catholic influence in the pre-industrial age of the agrarian, of the from transitioning from an agrarian to an industrial society. And then you had, uh, but they believed in secularism, and that also influenced into the universities. So when they would study universities, uh, it wasn't necessarily about specializing in different subjects. It was about a more holistic view of the world. And so basically, like, if you want to have a holistic view of the world, so everything is you're not separate from anything, basically, is the gist of it. And so, like, a physicist uh who looks at the moral deterioration of a culture, right? So through um children getting sexualized, uh what other, I don't know, watching sports, I guess, is a little bit degenerate. Drinking beer, maybe. Um, and so yeah, so you have that degeneracy, or cultural Marxism. That's another part of miscegenation. So you had that, and then a physicist would go, "Well, that's not my department, right? Like the moral deterioration of a civilization, that doesn't describe it at all. Like this all this memes in the culture, that doesn't describe it, right? So that's what a secular church would reject, is that if you are a physicist, you're just supposed to study physical matter, right? You're not supposed to study um, cultural influences and social sciences and how they might affect society and deteriorate it, right? It's just a physical thing, right? It's just like you go up and then you die, right? So the Catholic Church would be different. It'd be like, okay, this moral deterioration of society definitely has a role to play, but also we don't neglect the material aspect of it as well too. If a tree comes up, it has its birth, and then its growth, and then its maturity, and then its decline, and then eventually its death. Right. So we don't reject that aspect of nature, but we also don't reject the mimetic uh, in a civilization as well too. But I think that's very important. Um, Drinking is godly. What do you do? What do what do you while you drink may come to be degenerate? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna knock drinking. I've been drinking. Well, I've only had 2 beers, so I'm not really that drunk. But maybe we can get some more people on. I might drink a little bit more. I don't know if people can get on here or not. Shit. Well, I'm glad you guys can. A drunk man's actions are a sober man's thoughts. That is true. That is true. I'm gotten better. Like I can be more expressive. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I'm losing that distinction now. I feel like I could still get a lot expressed sober as I could drunk, but like I don't know. I don't know. I like being drunk sometimes. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it just gives me that little edge. It makes you maybe I think maybe it makes me think I'm smarter than I actually am. I don't know when I'm drunk, but yeah. Hang on here. Joan Schmidt. Hang on here. Let's go see. Let's gonna see. I'm just gonna try to get some people on here, but yeah. So Joan Schmidt. So he has a lot of good theories about like Anglo moralism, um, and the reason why I think I think it's kind of cringy actually. What's happening right now with the Canadian yellow vest protests? Um, and I don't know if I can get one here. And I think what the French are doing, like it's more organic. It's a more organic identity that is springing up that like that has these protests. And then the Anglophones they see this and they're like, "Well, yeah, we could do this. Yeah, we could do this." But like Anglophones, like they don't. It's not the same. And that's what makes it so bad, is because it's not that effective. I really don't think it's that effective. I think you're just you know what? Like honestly, I'm really apprehensive to go into these protests. Um, like these Anglo protests are like a waste of time. Unless you start getting like you blocking roads and messing up the distribution system. Um, I mean, you have to be disruptive in some way. It doesn't necessarily have to be like hand on hand combat, but you have to be disruptive in some way that gets their attention because these people don't care of how well you can intellectualize your argument. They don't care. Well, section uh, A and section A of the charter says that Justin Trudeau has committed treason and therefore he should be tried. No one fucking cares. If you're in power, like what? Like who? Yeah. Oh yeah. He got me. Oh, like you think they're just gonna give it up that easy? Like that's the thing I find so naive about Anglos is like they don't realize like how people in power work, or they're not necessarily they're not that they're skeptical like the French are of people of power. Like if you're skeptical, like you guys probably know this. If you're skeptical of power to begin with, you're called a conspiracy theorist and you are discredited. And why would you question people in power? They got there because of their merit, right? Like they didn't get there because of their backhand ideas. No, no, they're angels, right? Like they got there by their merit, right? And then if they do anything wrong, right, then we can do it. But like questioning this or that, like, oh, you're just a conspiracy nut. You need to get laid. Like you're way off the tracks. Like just get out of here. And so that's kind of the frustrating thing about Anglo culture is it's individualistic, which is not bad, but like if you don't have a community, it's very hard to get protest. And if you just replicate something and but don't understand its origins, it just makes it that much more cringy. And that's basically my laws only matter to the people in power when they can benefit from them. Yeah, yeah. Like you have to think of it this way too: is that the laws they make, they don't necessarily follow themselves. Um, so they can go to um, Iraq and they can you know have a drone and shoot down a whole bunch of people. But if God forbid, if you want to, show your displeasure to the government, you're getting, I don't know, 5 years of jail, or if you even criticize a transgender, God forbid, right? You get 2 years in jail. Like like we live in a good time, like a good thing to describe it would be anarcho tyranny. So basically, they selectively apply the law to people who are dissidents, right? And I'm surprised I got back into this. So, yeah, shit. Oh, man, can people get on here? Damn it. Oh man, I can still talk. I would just like to get people on here. Anyway, yeah. You chat, or can you chat? I don't know if you can chat right now. Maybe. Hang on. What is copy? This. Actually, maybe this might work. Let's see. Yeah. So, what are you guys' favorite beer to drink? Mine is, mm, I guess you could say like Original 16 right now. That's my favorite. Like, I genuinely like the taste of beer. Um, I think it's very, very pleasurable to drink. Anyway, I'm just gonna post this. Maybe I'm gonna post the webcam. Maybe that can work. I don't know if anybody can get on there or not. It's my first crack at this. Just gonna see. What if I click on this? Boomer Tech, just hang on here. Okay. So it's streaming. Quarter live stream. What am I doing? Oh, let's get another one. Okay. That should work. Okay, cool. Commented on my post. Okay, so yeah, I commented on Islamic Party of Ontario, and there's getting a lot of comments here, getting a little bit stirred up here. I see how people are like in Muslim majority countries, and it's not really what I want in Canada to become either. Just because we don't like political correctness doesn't mean Sharia is a solution. And another person said, "Fuck Sharia and political." Oh, sorry, I don't know if I'm supposed to swear. F Sharia. I disavow my swearing. I don't know if that works. F Sharia and political correctness. Islam doesn't belong in the Western world. We evolved since the 7th century. Ooh, that is interesting. That is a good hot take, actually. So there's a lot here. So political correctness. So how do you think political correctness came about to begin with, right? Okay, so the thing is, like, the West is founded on secular values. Screw beer, whiskey, or med. Ooh, I feel like this whole Muslim thing is going to reach a breaking point, then boil over to violence. Yeah, um, yeah, like yelling "F Islam" is not gonna work. We're gonna have to like be more like them. Like that's what the Russians did to the Chechens when they were wreaking havoc in the late '90s before Putin took over. Like they would bomb buildings and they would, they were like starting to take over territory uh, over by the Ukraine there. And then Putin basically had to adopt their tactics to get rid of them. And we don't like Canadian Army is weak as hell. And I don't know if we can. I'm really skeptical about like if we can actually have a revolution, like or not a revolution, but like actually deal with this problem with the equipment that we have right now of militant Islam. You know, Marxist infiltration. Yeah, that is true to some extent. But it's infiltrated the churches too. Um, and that the thing is, a secular society, it kind of it weakened. It's a weakened system, so anybody can kind of come in it basically. I don't know if you guys know of Jesse Lee Peterson. He was like interviewing all these. He's a black conservative based dude. He says, white lives matter. I don't know if you guys see him. He's pretty cool. But yeah, he interviewed like all these people, and I find it was really interesting. Is like we talked about like Christmas. So he asked him, do you guys believe in white Christmas? And some people are like, oh, I believe, I'm not racist and this and that. And then after that they would say, we live in a free society. You can practice whatever you want. So you could be a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Sikh, a Hindu, whatever. And we're so tolerant. That's kind of where the tolerant meme perpetrated. It was because of the secular society, the secular morals, right? If you lived in a Catholic society, you say Merry Christmas or else, right? Like if you say Happy Holidays, that's offensive. That's offensive to a Catholic. It should still be offensive to a Catholic, but they might be too secularized a little bit. But back in the heyday, like before, like I could say, before the '60s in Quebec, before they secularized, that would be the main kind of focus. Everyone had to say Merry Christmas, right? Because you lived in that culture. Whereas secularism, it doesn't really like force people. It doesn't. I hate to use that word force, but like it doesn't. There's no monolith kind of culture or religion that it enforces. So basically, it's open to infiltration, and part of that is liberalism. And also, what was it? Locke and Hobbes, John Locke and Hobbes came up with liberalism. They're also Anglos. Just going to point that out there. Anglos do triple brackets. Yeah. If you look at who colonized the Western Europe after World War II and still colonizes it today, and you look at what countries in Europe are having immigration problems and what country isn't, coincidence? I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. Whatever. Um, uh, there's a lot of people say that Hitler didn't necessarily believe in Christianity. Uh, they wanted to phase it out or something. I don't know. That'd be hard. I mean, maybe that'd be possible. Rubbing hands. Um, yeah, yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if Hitler, if he believed in Christianity or not. To tell you the truth, uh, he did have good war tactics, though. I'll give him that. The Democratic armies are overrated. Um, uh, we didn't necessarily kick their ass. The only reason why we could get in, like, occupy German territory is because the Germans were too easy on the Anglos, and yeah, if they weren't, you know, they would have had that continent of Britain, or not continent, but island of Britain. And we could be living. I wouldn't say necessarily be living in a different world, because I think the West would still deteriorate. Because, well, I don't know. It'd be interesting because Canada's a monarch from Britain technically, so Canada might actually been more like based, not America, but Canada. Maybe that's a possibility. Well, yeah, it's interesting. That'd be, yeah, but whatever. It's ifs, ands, and buts. We got the here and now. We got to deal with. So Germany didn't win the war, so just get on with your life. God damn it. Uh, can people get on here? I would like to get people on here. Commented on. Oh, we commented on a photo. Yeah, I don't know. Just share it. Share it, I guess. Hitler seemed like a agnostic, to be honest, Christian. Sure. I'll show at YouTube. Uh, maybe if I put it on messages. Shit. Am I doing this wrong? Just want to see. Okay. Okay. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go get beer. All right. All right. Let's do what you want there. All right. We was kings. All right, I'm back. Is drinking legal on live stream? Maybe I should be on off camera when I take it. Hang on. You just can't be too safe. That's pop. That's pop, YouTube. Just leave me alone. All right. um. Yeah. Yeah. I got to read over that terms and conditions. It just seems so vague. Like it talks about like hate speech, and like just anything could be defined as hate speech. So I don't want. Well, I don't know. Like I don't want to sound like a conservative. Like at the same time, I don't. I like to have this channel on because we have some kick-ass streams, and like when people get in here, people get heated and they have different opinions. That's when it's the best. And I just feel really shitty that I couldn't videotape it. And yeah, because we are talking with this one French dude, and basically he was talking about like he's a Confederate francophone basically, and we were talking about like the differences between anglophone and francophone, and why francophone culture wants to unify with anglophone culture. I think anglophone culture is in the West is very commercialistic. Their churches are shit because they only believe in an afterlife, so they don't believe in struggle, and so therefore they seek an afterlife, and so their churches go to shit. Their churches and community go to shit, and I would just like to see a lot of churches out here just demolished and just they just disappear. Um, they're so naive politically. I think that they would just Like it'd actually be better for society if they just went. If we had no church for them anyway. Like with them, yeah, no Salvation Army. Fuck them. Just- They can just go the way of the wayside. Uh SJW, yeah, SJW2 for the win. It's unfortunate. What did I got showing for? I don't even know if I want to talk about it because I'll probably get show it again. I was talking about what happened. You guys probably know what happened in the Russian Revolution with the Trotskyites and the Christians. Um, so if you guys want to connect the dots there, you can do that. But yeah, that's basically what I got showed for. Was that talking about Trotskyites? Albertans is starting to get that way as well. Fucking Ontario. Whoa, I don't know about that. Sure. Help for review. Okay. Well, sure. I like your passion. I'll let it go. Just try not to swear a lot. Like another thing too is like when you hang on, I'm gonna check it in. When you guys, I find that a lot of people that are not as well read, they tend to swear a lot. People who are more well, I'm not saying that person that comment he's not well read, and I swear too. So I'm not an angel, and I drink, so I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything like that. But I find that once you read more, and once you gain more knowledge, you you don't have the need to swear a lot. And I don't know what it is. You just get more cultured, I guess. I don't know, but um, it's not necessarily like a maybe it is an upper class thing. I don't know, but it's like when you genuinely take in knowledge and you meditate on it and you and you think about it and you take it in and you just don't necessarily zoom through a book, right? You get you know you don't have the need because you have so much going in your head at once. Like swearing is like kind of takes a back seat, is what I'm saying. I still swear. I think swearing is good. I encourage swearing, just not too much. Don't make every second word an F word. That's all I ask. It's not too hard. All right, so I'm just taking a drink. Oh, cool. Ontarians are weird though. A lot of the North wants to break off from the South because the South only cares about the South. Yeah, yeah. A lot of Confederates come from Ontario. Uh, they kind of push this meme of vague Canadian nationalism, and they kind of want to unite people. Uh, it's lame. I there's a lot of different ways. So there's Alberta separatism going on right now. When you read more, get more angle. Oh my god, you guys are so fucking fun. All right, there I swore. So yeah, so you have I guess Alberta is the first to kind of crack that nut there of separatism because they are oil rich country and a lot of it has to do with Trudeau's policies of sandbagging the Trans-Pacific pipeline between Alberta and British Columbia so they can get access to the port. And this is there's a lot of economic downturn because of this. On top of that, too, you have the carbon tax that affects everybody. Um, and so, my thoughts on this is, I think like economically, the West can be self sufficient. That's the thing we should be advocating for. We don't need to be dependent upon some bureaucrats in Ottawa telling us how climate change is going to ruin the world when there's no really objective evidence of um, how they can pinpoint on actually how destructive it is. They just kind of give this vague kind of, whoa, in 2013, Florida is going to be underwater, and then doesn't happen. Oh, it's 2015. It's just like the same kind of Christian kind of morality of like the end of the world. Oh, it's the end of the world because there's there's crows on the road, and the sun it rises at this angle, and it's the same kind of Christian morality basically. Is they're coming off of like a post apocalyptic society where everyone abandons God basically, and we just fend for ourselves because we don't believe in Jesus in our hearts, basically. That's basically, it's weird. These leftists, they talk about how anti-Christian they are, and they and they have the same consciousness of these same Christian right wing Christian doomsayers. So it's something to think about. The left right paradigm. I don't know how much of a distinct it is, really. I think the left and right can agree upon a lot of things. But yeah, so we're taking that's good pop. Save us, Winter Jam. Can we just get Hollet? Hollet? No. Oh my god, climate change. Yeah. Hollet. Okay, what do you think about Alberta saying they want the oil issue to affect equalization payments? Equalization payments, that's another thing too. So I guess Ontario and Quebec are the main beneficiaries of equalization payments, and this is also fanning of the flames of separatism in the West. Another thing you have to think about too is democratically we are disadvantaged in the West, so nobody could vote for Trudeau in the West, but he could still get elected. Think about that for a second, right? Because you have the most populated areas in Ontario and Quebec, and so he could still get. I don't know if he could any seats in Quebec, maybe probably a couple. Oh, probably in that Montreal area. That's like the most Anglo area in Quebec. Probably might get it. Yeah, but yeah, like it's weird. A French man would ruin Canada. Um, who was I actually? It's weird. I was actually watching this one guy on YouTube today. He said that Trudeau that's not his real name. Is like his real name is it's not necessarily like oh, what's that guy? Not Shea. What's that guy's name? Shea Shavera. Is it Shea Shavera? Oh fuck! What is his name? Maybe because you are black pilled. Why am I here? I don't know. I'm just I just wanted to get people to come in from my party and we could talk about it, build a community, all this shit. Yeah, I'm just trying to get Castro. There we go, Castro. Yeah, so Fidel Castro. Boom, there we go. Thank you, chat. So yeah, so I don't think necessarily there is that theory, but like you said, it was something else. It was Lehman Brothers, I think. I don't know. It's like some weird conspiracy thing. Like he had this theory of like he wanted to wake up people. Like if you wanted to wake up people, you had to like empower them basically. And you have to like say you have to like point them out to a story, and then you would get like and so hey, what's the story of Trudeau like bringing in like all these people in, right? Like, is this true or not? And so basically, that's how you kind of approach it. Is like you just kind of act dumb in a way, so you can give them the power to let them logically come to the conclusions that you come to. Hopefully, I don't know. It seems a little. That can work, I guess. Do it to your friends, family, whatever. I'm not discouraging it, but yeah, I think it's a good idea. White Sharia. Hails. I could do some more reading on the Islamic Party of Ontario if you'd like. So this is the channel that is Islamic white Sharia friendly. A lot of other Anglo nationalist groups are cucks. So I'm going to be Islamic friendly on here as much as possible. So I'm going to do some more reading. All right. So I just did the one passage about um, wealth sharing, basically, and getting rid of interest rates. So, all right, all right, I'm gonna go to the next one here. So the next passage, Quran verse 2, section 219. They ask, and they ask you what they should spend. Say, the excess, brackets, beyond needs. Thus, Allah makes clear to you the verses of Revelation that you might give thought. Uh, passage 2, section 261. The example of those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah is like that of grain of corn that sprouts 7 years, and in every year there are 100 grains. Thus, Allah multiplies the action of whomever He wills. Allah is magnificent, all knowing. All right, so those are the two verses there. And then I'm just going to go off the paragraph explanation. Believers were urged to sacrifice life and property for the sake of the great cause in which they believed. It is difficult, however, to persuade those whose standard of judgment in respect economic matters has not completely changed, to rise above either personal or narrow group interest and despise their wealth wholeheartedly for the sake of the righteous cause. Amen. People who have a materialistic outlook and whose life constitutes an uninterrupted pursuit of money, who adore every single penny they have, and who can never stop thinking about the balance sheets, can never have the capacity to do anything really effective for the sake of higher ideals. Amen. Or Allah, praise Allah. Sorry, it's a Christian. Praise Allah. Sorry, just doing it in the Muslim context. When such people do spend money for the sake of higher moral ideals, it is merely an outward act which is performed after carefully calculating the material benefits which are likely to occur either to them, to their group, or to their nation. With this outlook, a person cannot go one step forward along the path of that deen, system of life, brackets. And then it goes in here, which requires a man to become indifferent to considerations of worldly profit and loss, and constantly to spend time, energy, and money to make the word of God reign supreme. All right. So basically, yeah. So who said religion is not useful? Like, fuck these atheist cucks. They haven't even read the Bible or the Quran. Okay. So I like this area here. People who have a materialistic outlook, whose life constitutes an uninterrupted pursuit of money, who adore every single penny they have, and can never stop thinking about their balance sheets, and never have the capacity to do anything really effective for the sake of higher ideas. That is so true. Um, eh, I like I just like that that is like anti-Anglo, and I'm for that. That is like Angloism is materialistic and there's no higher ideals, and that's why our culture is so shit right now. Because we have abandoned these ideals. I agree with that, definitely. All right, I'm just gonna put the chat here. I wouldn't touch anything true. What if his mom had a? Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay. We'll do some more passage reading here. Alrighty. So, okay. All right. So we got new passages here. So, verse 2, section 262. Those who spent their wealth in the way of Allah and do not follow up their spending by stressing their benevolence and causing hurt will find their reward secure with their Lord. They have no cause for fear and grief. They need not fear that they will not amply rewarded, or that they will have any reason to feel remorse for spending in the way of God. Praise Allah! You better beat your wife. No, I'm sorry. No, no, sorry. That's that. I disavow that. Sorry. I don't know how long I'm gonna last on here, guys. Sorry. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. If I did, I disavow it. Sorry, YouTube. Okay. Uh, just cut that out. Okay. All right. Still good. All right. And then section 2, verse 263. To speak a kind word and to forgive people's faults is better than charity followed by hurt. Allah is all self-sufficient, all forbearing. Okay. So let's we talk about like self-sufficiency, right? That's what Allah believes in. This implies two things. First, Allah does not stand in the way anybody's charity, for he self-sufficient. Secondly, he likes those who are generous and large-hearted, but does not like frivolous and narrow-minded people, for he is generous, clement, and forbearing. How then Allah, who bestows on the people the necessities of life without stint, and forgives and pardons them over and over again in spite of their errors, would like those who mar the self respect of a person by sending repeated reminders of their clarity and making pointed references to it, even though they might have given only a farthing, yeah. A tradition of the Holy Prophet says that on the day of resurrection, Allah will neither speak a word nor even so much as look at a person who makes pointed references to the gift he have gave to someone. And we got here section 2, verse 264. Believers, do not nullify your acts of charity by stressing your benevolence and causing hurt as does he who spends his wealth on only to seen by people and does not believe in Allah and the last day. The example of his spending is that of a rock with a thin coating of earth upon it. When a heavy rain smites it, the earth is washed away, leaving the rock bare. Such people derive no gain from their acts of charity. Allah does not set the deniers of truth on the right way. And then there's a paragraph here. Goes a little bit in depth here. The desire to display one's good deeds itself proves that the person concerned does not truly believe in God and the hereafter. One who does not merely to impress people with his righteousness clearly regards those persons as his God. Such a person neither expects a reward from God, nor is he concerned that his good deeds will someday be reckoned to his credit. Wow. So a lot of Protestants they say, well, if we just pray enough, we'll get blessings, right? Like you see this like a lot of Protestants they would like especially in the States. Sorry, I'm just gonna take a drink here. It's good pop. Yeah, so the Protestants, what they like to believe in, that you are bestowed blessings of material wealth because you believe in God. That is the inversion, and that is heresy. If you hear a Protestant ever saying that, shame them. Shame them. Wave your finger at them like this. Maybe shake your fist. And maybe, I don't know. That's something that's not YouTube, right? But yeah, just shame them. It's a really good social tool. I agree with that. All right, we're just gonna go over the chat here, see what's going on. That's snack bar. Yeah, that would probably be the American version after. Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm just gonna see here. You guys like the? Oh yeah, I'm committing Haram right now, drinking pop. So, I'm not a Muslim. can only wish. This kid, maybe. I don't know. A lack of shame is part of the way we are where we are today. That is true. Very true. So let's see what's going on here. Yeah. Another thing, like Anglos would like to say, well, we created the modern world, right? Like, there's not any like spiritually or socially, uh, economically problems with it. Like, it's so great, it's so vast because you can get this like cheap iPhone 10, right? Or but you can keep updating react to your photo. Oh, I'm getting a lot of reacts for the photo, the Anglo photo of the white Sharia one. Yeah. Um, so yeah, Tucker Carlson actually had a really good like video on this. He's basically said that the government doesn't really care about, it only cares about GDP. Is just GDP nationalism. It doesn't care about the people, the social aspect of it, the family unit, or anything like that. And I thought it was like kind of like a Catholic worldview. I wonder if he's a Catholic. I don't know if Tucker Carlson's a Catholic. Maybe you guys might know. I don't know. But anyway, it seemed like pretty like a Catholic kind of worldview, is because he linked the two together. He's just like, how are we going to bring these together? Because the government's obviously neglecting this part, and it's affecting our moral character of our society. And and like what, we're just gonna have cheap goods from China. We're just gonna have these temp jobs for the rest of their life. Like, is this what our nation's gonna look like? Um, it's kind of eco-fash in a way. And I think that was like really insightful. Commented on your post. Oh, I'm getting more comments. What is this now? I got an Odin. Oh no, this is Christian. Jesus promised to get rid of all the wicked people. Odin promised to get rid of all the ice giants. I don't see any ice giants. Do you? Okay. All right. Oh, I get it. It's like, I don't see ice giants, but I see wicked people. Ho ho ho. Yeah. See it. Well, I mean, praying is not going to get rid of us Muslims. So, um, yeah, you're gonna have to ditch your liberalism if you want to get rid of us Muslims. So, yeah, good luck with just shaming us, because we don't fucking care. We're out to conquer. That's what we want. We want your property. We want your economic system. We want your government. We want to take over everything in the name of Allah. Canada's a supply of wood and food. Yeah. The thing, another I guess criticism that people have of Islam is that it's globalist. It is true. Uh, so you kind of have like you have different like world orders. You have like the Muslim. They have their own kind of idea of what they want. Then you have the Chinese, and then you have somewhat the Russians. But I definitely don't want the Chinese to get here. I would rather have a. If I were to pick, I'd rather have a Muslim invasion than a Chinese invasion. I don't want a fucking social credit score in my living in my day to day life. That'd just be like suicide. I'd be dead in like 2 weeks. I don't know. I'd starve to death. I don't know. They just like, yeah, you have really unsocial views. Like, it's already happening already. We're already kind of pariahs. So like I prefer a Muslim society as opposed to a Chinese society. Yeah. Ooh, a Nietzsche quote here. Nietzsche, to paraphrase, said that the nature was inherent in man. Currently, we internalize instead of externalizing this against others, leading to our masculinistic culture. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that's a Yeah, that's definitely true. Tucker Carlson is a white nationalist. He is tucking. Yeah, yeah, I've heard that before. I've heard a lot too that the Republicans have been kind of dog whistlers of white nationalism before, so it's not necessarily something new per se. But yeah, but America is less cocked that way. Chinese won't bring their army; they'll buy and own politicians. Uh, who buys and owns the politicians already? Hmm? You can fill in the blank. Oh shit! Oh man, never know. Canada has a weak ass army. Yeah, that is true. Chinese, they have a really they challenge the 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 system, like the American liberal order. But you have to think about it this way. So when you get a grasp of the whole world, right? You want to kind of so what do you had? You had the Chinese, the Russians, in the early 20th century, and the Germans in the early 20th century, were main opponents of the liberal order, right? Um, and and so they actually tried by force to get rid of the liberal order or have more power, basically, and so that the world will be less illiberal and we don't have to live in this fucking hellhole. And the same type of attitude. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I was gonna say. So that they destroyed that basically. So they destroyed the Japanese, Chinese, yeah, Japanese, the Axis, dropping the atomic bomb, and they wanted to starve the Germans too. Uh, for their illiberal ways, and but they just colonized them, and they we'll even liberalism. Oh, well, we'll knock it down. We're gonna knock down these walls. It's gonna be so great. And so from that, since after World War II, it has it has they have expanded their power, so their physical power cannot be matched because it's everywhere. Like you can't like you. There's no national army that's going to challenge it today. Not even Russia. And they're probably like the most likely ones to challenge it. The ones who challenge it are populists. So when you have when you have these different political movements coming inside of these liberal established countries, that is a real threat to liberalism. That is why you have the Russiagate thing, because they think that they are trying to rule, they're trying to get rid of it, right? Because they're the only actual real threat or whatever. But it is people like us who are a threat to the liberal order, who bring these populist politics into the mainstream, who digest these ideas to normal people every day, talk to them every day. That is a threat. Like these organic populist, well, I'm not going to say organic, but this kind of reaction against globalism uh, is a threat to liberalism. So it's not necessarily about getting an army and like kicking liberalism's ass. It's more of like building a political structure that actually challenges. It's building a organic movements, political movements that actually challenge this structure that makes it rot from the inside out. That is its own threat. It's not military. It's not taking over countries here or there. It's just kind of people here or there blooming and swamping. That's why there's so much censorship right now. That's why. Anyway, the nation of Japan wanted to stop Anglo-dem. That is true. They were very Anglophobic, unlike Hitler. Poor Hitler. As Germanic or Slav man to take Anglo woman turn them right. Indeed. I don't know if you guys hang on. I just gotta take another drink of my pop here. I'm gonna go on a different tangent here. All right. I don't know if you guys see this. The Fox Day had a stream, and he was highlighting what a nation is, and a nation is by default a people, a ethnicity, a tribe of people. And what was written in the American Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence, was that the nation was meant for British people. And this is supposed to be passed down by blood to other British people. And then it wasn't until, geez, what was it, like early 19th century that they brought in all the European and Irish immigrants who basically built the country. And they wanted a good people with good character, European descent, right, to build their country. And so this is kind of where the nation of immigrants come from. It's Irish, Celts, Celt power. Oh, yeah. If only those Jacobites were to take over England, we wouldn't be in this fucking mess right now. Damn it. We was Jacobites and shit. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So yeah, nationhood. So me, I'm an Irish. So in the Canadian Constitution, it says that let's stick with the Canadian. So it's Irish. It's Celt. No, not Irish. What am I doing? Anglo, Francophone, and Native population. So natives are actually more Canadian than me. The nation is more towards them as opposed to me, because I'm not Anglo. I'm not Francophone. I am Irish German. It's not for me, man. And then, like where I'm from, there's a lot of Ukrainians too, and they have their own culture and they have their own calendar. They don't celebrate Christmas until January 7th. British French natives were colonized by who? British counts as Celts. No. Okay. What is it? The Celts were their own tribe. They had their own. Because well, it is like a distinct genetic cluster, that British Isles. You had the Bronze Age that brought in when the Indo-Europeans were heading west. The Bronze Age migrated a lot of people there, and they had their genetic clusters that were isolated from the rest of continental Europe. So I'm not going to say that they are those island peoples are definitely genetically distinct from the rest of Europe in some way, like an ethnicity, right? And then France is more a Latin people, along with Spain. They're more like the Mediterranean type. And so British Isles, their own kind of cluster. Then you have the Northern Germanics people with their own phenotypes. You have Norway. Well, actually, Finland is more Asiatic, like more like Russians. So they have that. And then you have Russians and Swedes. Swedes are like the prototypical Northern Europeans. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Like same as Aryans. And so you have those, and then you have the Mediterranean people as their own kind of cluster, and then you have basically the British Isles is actually their own genetic cluster, and then within that also you have Irish, Scottish, and British. And Brits are pretty ugly looking. I'm definitely not a Brit, like by genetic. Like Brits like they have ugly teeth. They have like deformed skin. They tan not really well. They don't have like beautiful Celtish red hair. You know, I'm a mutt, so I got I got like red and like blonde hair. So I'm a clusterfuck of two different types of ethnicities. Who are you calling British? It's actually all white people must atone for their sins. They claim we committed by giving up everything for the Gibbs. Oh, this so kind of cultural Marxist idea that they can't necessarily admit that we most of scientific revolutions and philosophers are European. I hear the left rave on about this a lot. Like, what? Why are we going from dead white guys? Like, why isn't there like non-Europeans that are philosophers that we can draw from? Well, Marx was a Jew, but like, why white? Why? Actually, Marx was actually pretty anti-Jewish, and I say anti-Jewish because anti-Semitism is not a correct definition. It is anti-Jewish. If you're anti-Semitic, you're anti-Christian, you're anti-Palestinians, you're anti anybody who speaks a Semitic language in Northern Africa. Maybe you are. I don't know. I don't know if you want to be at this time. I don't know. I don't know any truly anti-Semitic people, like in the true term. So usually, like, yeah, those Israel people. Like, I'm for Palestine because they're Christians and they kind of have that European admixture to them. Still do. Like, if you go to Syria, there's a lot of European admixture too. Well, that's where kind of the Indo-Europeans came from. Like, they came from India, and they actually mixed with a lot of what we know as Indian people, Native Americans, uh, in Asia, and then they crossed the Bering Strait, and so they have Indian, they have some European, Indo-European admixture, and that's why there's chariots in 5 BC in India is because the heavy influence of Indo-European culture, the aristocratic warlike culture was, and they spread, and there were still distinct cultures, but they're heavily influenced way back when. So there was multiculturalism going back then. So we Europeans are very multicultural. Indeed, the natives are European, Asian, according to the current theory. Burn America, burn Israel, and burn the Vatican. True. Well, interesting theories. I don't know if I might get in trouble for that. I might have to disavow that. I don't know. Well, it's America, so I mean, it was whatever. Burn Israel. Okay, so yeah, I will have to disavow that. Okay, because I'm getting in trouble now. I disavow any burnings of countries. YouTube. Okay. Just want to get that out of the way. How many times did I disavow today? God damn. Okay. Yeah. Uh, let's talk about multiculturalism, guys. Like how different cultures work and interact with each other. Has anyone got like a oh, I think I asked earlier, has anyone like found out any multicultural societies that are actually working right now that are peaceful? I'd like to know. Multicult. I think I, I view myself as like a traditional liberal. Like, I believe in the authentic expression of cultures. No. Oh, damn it, guys. Come on. You got to make this work. Oh, think of the Jews. Come on. Think of the Jews. Oh. Well, I think Israel could benefit from multiculturalism. It might work there. They preach about it a lot. I think they should preach what they practice. I think it'd be great if they had multiculturalism. I think they would benefit from it. Is that hates? I don't know. I don't know. Everyone hates each other, and now you start adding different cultures and races. Just amplifies the hate. We all love each other, okay? Just just hold hands and sing "Kumbaya." Like that's just all we need to do. You guys need to smoke marijuana. Actually, you guys need to get laid more. you guys, you guys need to get laid more. God damn it! That's just why you have so much hate in your heart. You can't like. Oh yeah. Hang on, I guess drink from my pop. God damn. Getting any people around here? I like talking, but like I get my mouth gets dry. Oh, maybe because it's alcohol. I could read more Islamic passages too. Oh, I got another comment on here. Okay. Why not just make Olden the all father head of Canada? He would lead this country to greatness. If you want to be so stupid as to think a religion such as that could do any good in politics, why not skip that altogether and go right to the gods? Ooh. Just tell them to come on down and sign on up for prime minister. Your idea makes just as much sense as asking a fake invisible deity to run for a country. This bitch. Sorry, that's hate speech. I just about that. Yeah. This women. Wow, that's love to have conversation with her. That's like the Ben Shapiro like atheist kind of take. Like, oh, like that's not how it works, lady. That's not how God works. You should read the Bible, maybe. Maybe you'll understand how ethos works. How logos works. Logos. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. All right. I got a couple more verses from the Quran here to read for all you Allah worshippers. All right. The example of those who spend their wealth single-mindedly to please Allah what is that of a garden on high ground. If a heavy rain smites it, it brings forth its fruits twofold. Ooh. And if there is no heavy rain, even a light shower suffices it. Allah sees all that you do. Heavy rain signifies here charity motivated by a high degree of benevolence and sincerity. Light shower refers to charity deficient in sincerity and goodness, okay, though not altogether devoid of them. Okay. So that'd be like going to like a soup kitchen and like doing it for a different cause and not being so authentic. I kind of talk about that too. The thing is like, like Christians and Muslims, they kind of believe in the same thing. It's just that there's obviously differences and I understand that. But yeah, the thing is with Muslim conquered territories, what that happens is it's so dogmatic. Oh, I'm gonna criticize Islam. Oh no, it's so dogmatic that it builds resentment in people, and this is why Christians were able to rule because even when they were a minority, they could still get into power. Ooh, it sounds like a Jew. And so that's how Christian societies were to build stronger. And you could say, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you with that. Christianity is Europeanized. But yeah, but if we had Islam, we would cause a lot of resentment. And I'm not saying we don't cause a lot of resentment. We still do, but we still have functioning empire, I guess you could say for now. And then there's another passage here, section 2, verse 266. Would any of you desire that he should have a garden of palms and vines with rivers flowing beneath it, a garden in which he has every manner of fruit, and that it should then be struck by a fiery whirlwind and be utterly burnt down at the time when old age has overtaken him, and his offspring are still too small to look after their affairs? Thus, Allah makes his teachings clear to you that you may reflect. Ooh, like that. Cool. Yeah, holy crap. Anyone want to go on here? I'm kind of talked out here. Hail Odin. You better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you what. It is coming. There's a lot. Alrighty. I'm talked out. All right. Nobody came on, but this is a good stream. Good talk to you guys. My mouth is. I don't know. I was kind of hoping other people go on, but it was a good stream. I had time with you guys. All right. Well, peace out and praise Allah.